Oh, good. It worked. Awesome. Hello, Naja. Thank you for joining us again. Awesome to have you here.
Hello. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to have you here as well.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
We got still.
What?
Like, good.
Amazing. Awesome.
Nicht so gut.
Was, wieso versteht er nicht so gut?
Nein.
Er redet nicht Schweizerdeutsch.
Warum?
Er redet Spanisch und Portugiesisch und
Aber ich lebe
Englisch.
auch Spanisch.
I understood Portuguese.
Yeah, he's speak Spanish. So.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay.
Hoi.
Oi.
Hoi. Ich habe gerade gegangen.
Versteht ihn nicht.
Um,
He was in daycare.
okay. All right. So I think it's time to start. It's 1:06 right now. Good. Let me get this to record. Okay. You got the message to record? Yes,
Yeah.
awesome. So welcome everybody. This is the fifth day of our live, and this week has been very exciting to me. And I have been thrilled with what we have been talking about and accomplishing all this time. So just to recap, on the first day, we talked about the obstacles that we all face in the learning process. We talked about my story and how I have been teaching throughout this entire years. I have been teaching for more than 10 years now. It doesn't look like because I look this young, but but yes, that's true. And on the second day, oh, and also we talked about consistency and discipline, right? On the second day, we talked about diving deep and how to consciously immerse into the language. And we saw those 5 steps that we discussed also yesterday. On the third live, we talked about, what did we talk about on the third live? Help me.
Pronunciation of?
Yes, pronunciation. That was the day that I had no electricity, and yes, that messed up with my mind. So we talked about pronunciation. Actually, it was very practical lesson. So I heard from students and how they pronounced words and sounds. On our fourth live, that was yesterday, we talked about shadowing and speaking from the very first day. Because I do encourage my students to speak from the very first day, so they don't have to wait months or years to start communicating and to start producing the language. And today we're going to talk about training, and we're going to talk about exercises and memorization exercises that you can do. Because remember that I told you the other day, our brains is like a muscle. You have to train every day. You have to exercise. If you don't do that, you will lose what you have already achieved. So it's very important every day to practice, you know, and it depends also on the level that you are. For example, if you are fluent in a language and if you don't speak this language for a long time, you will not forget it. However, when you are learning a language, it's very likely that you will forget if you don't practice. So we are all learners here. So it's very important to keep practicing and to keep reviewing the exercises and the things that you study over and over again until you master that topic. And also, we're going to talk about the 10 most important verbs, or not the most important, but the 10 most used verbs in Portuguese. And I will present them to you in the present form, in the past form, and in the future. And I won't be uh, presenting to you in all the persons, eu, você, ele, ela, nós, because that's too much. So I decided to focus on only eu, because that's what we use the most. We talk about ourselves, and then that's what we're going to do for today's live, to see the eu conjugation of these 10 verbs in the present, in the past, and in the future. And also, I will present to you a app or a website that's Quizlet. Some of you have heard of it, some of you have not, and I think it's very useful. So, to begin with, I realized throughout these years of teaching that some students they find themselves in this infinite learning loop in which they study, but they never progress. They keep going round in circles and they think they are progressing, but they keep doing the same thing over and over again and studying the same topics over and over again. And after some times, they feel frustrated because they have been studying for so long, but they can't see themselves progress. And I call it infinite learning loop. And I want to show you how to avoid it. How to, if you are in on that loop, Linda, yes. So if you are in that loop, I want to help you get out of it. And if you are not, I want to tell you how to avoid it, you know? So I told you on our second live, I suppose, that students tend to consume all the information that they find online. They don't focus, and that's not good, you know, because you work with things superficially. And I told you to dive deep, study thoroughly that topic until you go to the other one. So, um, and also we talked about shadowing. And let's start. Before I move to Quizlet, I want to share my screen and start working with you with the 10 verbs. So, share. Okay. Oh, I can't present this. I thought I could. No. Anyway, you can see this, right? It's good. Awesome. So, the first verb that we've got, verbo ser. This is the most used verb in Portuguese. And here we've got always the first sentence is present, always the second sentence is past, always the third sentence is future, okay? In all the examples that I'm going to show you today. So just bear that in mind, certo? Marcela, todas as frases que vêm primeiro, presente, frase 2, passado, frase 3, futuro, tá bom?
Compreendo. Sí, sí, sí.
Ok. So, eu sou um professor. Eu sou um professor. Sou, presente. Eu sou. Always. Always. Eu sou. Ok? Eu fui aluno dele em 2018. Eu fui. Past. I was his student in 2008. Eu fui. Eu vou ser o melhor professor. I will be the best teacher. Oh, Yuri, but I know that the future of verb ser is serei. Eu serei o melhor professor. And yes, you are right, but we are not going to focus on that because in spoken Portuguese, we hardly ever use that structure. So the structure that we use mostly on our daily life here is this structure here. Verb ir, vou, plus the verb in the infinitive, ser. So I will focus on what you find on your daily life here in Brazil. This is how we say it. Even though you can say, eu serei o melhor professor, but that's not what most people say in our daily lives. So, eu vou ser o melhor professor. Ok? So, eu sou, eu fui, eu vou ser. All right? Linda, you good? Marcela, Carla, all good? Yes? Good. So,
Yes.
and then we have verbo ir. Eu vou para casa com ele. This first sentence, eu vou para casa com ele, it can be present, eu vou agora para casa com ele, or it can be future, eu vou para casa com ele amanhã, mês que vem, ok? Verbo ir has this idea of it can be present, it can be future. And that's why we use this verb to talk about future action. Like here, eu vou ser, future. Okay? Eu fui. Oh, Yuri, but I just saw that verbo ser is also fui. Yes. It's the same conjugation, different verbs. Eu fui para casa ontem. Same conjugation. Okay? So now you know that fui can be from verb ser or it can be from verb ir. It depends on the context. And eu vou para casa em 4 dias. That's what I told you. Eu vou can be present, eu vou para casa com ele agora, or it can be future, eu vou para casa em 4 dias. Okay?
Okay.
Good. I will share all this later on our Telegram group, and also all the Master Club members will have this in the platform so they can download and use it. Verbo estar. Verbo estar. Eu estou no Brasil. And also pay attention to the pronunciation. You can say estou with the e sound in the beginning, estou, but also estou with the e sound. I myself say e. Eu estou no Brasil. Eu estou no Brasil. But you can hear estou and also you can hear estou. Okay, so it's very important to be aware of these different types of pronunciation. So when you hear it, you know what the person is talking about. Eu estou no Brasil, presente. Eu estive na China em 2012. Past. I'm not there anymore. I'm here. Eu vou estar no Canadá em breve. Eu vou estar no Canadá em breve. So, vou estar. Always verb in the infinitive when you use this structure. Okay? Right? Good. Verbo poder. Poder. Can. Eu posso nadar. This is an ability and this is also present. Eu posso nadar. Posso. And pay attention to the pronunciation. O, po, po. It's not poço. Poço means something else. Poço means a well of water. No poço. This is poço. Okay? Posso. So, this is present. Past, eu não pude ir. Eu não pude ir. Pude. Então, posso, pude. And here we have the negative. The negative in Portuguese is quite simple. You just add não. It's different from French. French is very complex, negative forms. But in Portuguese, it's quite simple. Just add não between the subject and the verb. Eu pude ir, affirmative. Eu não pude ir, negative. Right? And future, eu vou poder assistir amanhã o filme, for example. Eu vou poder. So always have in mind that structure when you use the future. Because if you know this structure, you don't even have to worry about the conjugation of the verbs in the future, at least not for now. You know, just stick to this and then your communication will be very good. So this is verbo poder. Verbo fazer. What is verbo fazer? To do. Verbo fazer. Eu faço a tarefa de casa. I do homework. Eu faço a tarefa de casa. Eu fiz a tarefa de casa esta manhã. Eu fiz, passado. Eu vou fazer a tarefa de casa amanhã. And also pay attention to these two words. Manhã, morning, amanhã, tomorrow. Ok? Manhã, amanhã. Eu faço, eu fiz. Eu vou fazer. Ah, and also remember, there is no a after vou. Eu vou a fazer. I realize that some Spanish-speaking students tend to put this a after vou because of the influence of the Spanish, but in Portuguese, no a. Eu vou fazer, eu vou comer, eu vou viajar, eu vou, sei lá, dormir, tá? Verbo ver, to look. And here I decided to show you, oh, what is this? I don't know. And here I decided to show you, yes, okay, it's gone. Two different ways that we say this sentence. Eu vejo ela todo dia, vejo, eu a vejo todo dia. So, the correct form, according to the grammar, is the second option. Eu a vejo todo dia. However, no one speaks like that in real life. What do we say? Eu vejo ela todo dia. Okay? So, if you want to be more formal, more like the grammar stuff, then you would say, eu a vejo todo dia. Eu a vi ontem. Eu vou vê-la amanhã. Okay? But this is more complex. And in real life, in spoken Portuguese, we don't go for the most complex thing. We like to go easier, even though it is not according to the grammar, but that's what we do in real life. So we just say, eu vejo ela todo dia. Eu vi ela ontem. Eu vou ver ela amanhã. Okay? Oh, Yuri, so when I'm in the streets talking to someone, can I say, eu vejo ela todo dia? Yes, you can. But if you're doing a test, a proficiency test, a proficiency exam, no. Then you have to know that you say, eu a vejo todo dia. Okay? So it's very important to have this in mind when to use the language, when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate, right? So that's why I decided to bring these two examples here. But pay attention to the verbs. Eu vejo, eu vi, eu vou ver. Eu vejo, eu vi, eu vou ver. Okay? Is everything all right? Can I carry on? Yes, any questions for now? No, you good? Awesome, awesome. Verbo ter, to have. Verbo ter. Eu tenho 2 gatos. Presente. Eu tenho 2 gatos. Eu tive um cachorro. Past. I don't have a dog anymore. Eu tive um cachorro. Eu vou ter mais um gato. Future. I will have one more cat. Ok? So, eu tenho, eu tive, eu vou ter. Eu tenho, eu tive, eu vou ter. Ok? In the negative, how would it be? Eu não tenho 2 gatos. Eu não tive um cachorro. Eu não vou ter mais um gato. Certo? It's quite simple, the negative. You just add não. Verbo vir. Verbo vir is quite confusing even for Brazilians. Sometimes I just mess up with the conjugation of this verb, and we all do, especially in past tenses. But here, verbo vir. Eu venho para casa cedo todo dia. Present. Eu venho. Venho. Remember that we saw the pronunciation of NH on Wednesday? Eu venho. Eu vim para casa cedo ontem. I came early yesterday. Home, came early home. Came home early yesterday. So vi is to come. And remember, when a word finishes with M, we don't pronounce the M. We turn it into a nasal sound. So some students pronounce vim, vim. No, vim, vim. Eu vim para casa cedo. You see that my mouth doesn't even close. Eu vim, ok? Eu vim para casa cedo. Then we've got eu vou vir para casa cedo amanhã. Então, nós temos vim e vir. Eu vim, eu vou vir. Okay? The pronunciation is quite similar. Eu vim, eu vou vir. Okay? Good. Verbo dar, to give. Dar. Eu dou um abraço em você. I give you a hug. Eu dou um abraço em você. Dou. Eu dei o dinheiro a ele. Past. I gave him the money. Eu dei. Eu vou dar o dinheiro amanhã. Eu vou dar. Eu dou. Eu dei. Eu vou dar. Ok? I'm just waiting for some people to write. So, eu dou, eu dei, eu vou dar. And the 10th verb is verbo querer. Verbo querer, to want. Eu quero viajar. And pay attention to the pronunciation of this QU. QUE. It's que. Que. Okay, it's not que. It's que. Querer. Querer. Eu quero viajar. Eu quero viajar. Eu quis te contar. I wanted to tell you. Eu quis te contar. Eu vou querer outro. I will want another one. That would be the literal translation. And in one of our master classes, we talked about asking politely for something. And then Linda had this very interesting question in which she asked, oh, Yuri, do I say eu gostaria de, or do I say eu quero? And then I said, well, Linda, it depends. If you say eu gostaria, that's very formal. And when we are in a restaurant, we hardly ever say eu gostaria de uma Coca-Cola. And we also don't say eu quero uma Coca-Cola because that sounds rude. So in the in between, we have eu vou querer. Eu vou querer is future, but in this context of asking politely for something, it's present. You know, it's just like being polite. Eu vou querer, even though you want it now, but you say, eu vou querer uma Coca-Cola. Then you are being polite to the waiter or the waitress. Okay, so it also can be used in this context. Eu queria. Eu queria is also a polite way, Tomás, to say, eu queria uma Coca-Cola, por favor. You can use both ways, okay? That's right. So you could say, eu vou querer uma Coca-Cola, or you can say, eu queria uma Coca-Cola, por favor. That's also being polite. And it's also very much used here. Awesome. Okay, so these are 10 cards with 10 different verbs. And before I move on, I would like to ask you if there is any questions that you would like to ask before I present to you the tool, the Quizlet, on how you can use this to practice, to train your brain. Any questions?
Can we go back to that real quick?
To where?
That, T-E-R.
Oh, they, yes, here.
That, so the R is silent?
Yes, neither. The R at the end of every word is silent.
Okay.
So here we say te, and here we say ve. You see, the R at the end is not pronounced.
Okay, and the other question,
here, yes.
El tenho dois gatos?
Yes.
Like it's the Y, it's not, okay. Okay, and chive, right?
Chivi.
Chivi.
Yes. Were you here on Wednesday? If you weren't, neither, watch the live on Wednesday because we talked about pronunciation. And then when we have a word that finishes with E and O, the pronunciation changes. So when it finishes with O, we pronounce U, tenho. And when it finishes with E, we pronounce with E, chivi.
Okay.
You see?
Got it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other question? So, oh yes, Marcela.
Eu vou ter mais gato.
Ajá.
Significa más de un gato, dos
No.
gatos,
Sí.
o en el futuro.
Sí, futuro. Yo tengo un gato. Yo voy a ter más otro gato. Entonces voy a ter tres.
Otro
Sí,
gato.
sim. Sim.
Obrigado.
De nada. Any other question? So this that Naida asked is very interesting to bear in mind that when the R is at the end of a word, the R is not pronounced. So all these verbs are in the infinitive form. So se, e, but also Naida, it's interesting to notice that it depends on which part of Brazil you are. Because if you are in São Paulo, for example, people may pronounce the R like ser, ear, star, okay? So they pronounce the R at the end with this sound. But most parts of Brazil, we don't pronounce the R at the end. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
In Spanish, we drop a lot of R's and other letters too.
Yes, yes. Good. So this is the Quizlet. Quizlet is our website, and I think there is an app as well. I've never used the app, but I've only used the website. And I have created here 30 cards, you know, with all the 30 sentences that we have already seen. Every card here, 3 cards there. One for this, one for this, one for this. So then we have 30 cards. And how does it work? Well, this is in Portuguese, but I think when you do it, it will be in your native language. So here we've got cartões, all the cards that I have created. And on one side, I've got English, and on the other side, I've got Portuguese. So your job is to remember how to say, I'm going home in 4 days in Portuguese. And then you say it, oh, eu vou para casa em 4 dias. And then you click, and then you see the answer. Eu vou para casa em 4 dias. Check. You're done. Okay? And then you move to the other card. I went home yesterday. How do you say I went home yesterday? Eu fui para casa ontem. Oh, yes, that's right. And then you move to the other card. So these are all the cards that you have created. Well, this one I created for you. With my students, I always ask the students to create new cards and we practice them together, right? And here you have aprender. Aprender, learn. So let's click here. Aprender. Then here you're going to practice. You're going to learn these sentences, these verbs. You're going to see how it works. So, for example, I have in Portuguese here. Eu fiz a tarefa de casa essa manhã. I do the homework. I'll do the homework tomorrow. I'll come home early tomorrow. I did the homework this morning. Which one is the correct one? This one, right? And then you click, correct. You did it right. And then it moves to the next sentence. Eu vou estar no Canadá em breve. So all this practice, all this exercise is based and is created with the cards that you developed yourself, you know? Okay, Carla. And then you create and then you keep practicing. Because remember, we've got to keep training our brains to acquire this new language. So, and this, you are just trying to remember what are the sentences, what are the verb conjugations and all this stuff. And then you do it all. You have 30 cards, you do this 30 times. And also, we have the section escrever. Right. So, escrever. Now you are going to practice writing. So you have, I wanted to tell you. How do I say this in Portuguese? And then you write, eu quis te contar. Well, let's see if it's right. Yes, correto, muito bem. And then you go to the next sentence. I'm going home in 4 days. And then how do you say that? And then you write. All right, this is another practice that you do now that you have already studied the memorization. If you remember the sentences in Portuguese, now you have to write them to see if your spelling is good. if you remember how to write the words. Also, we have the section soletrar. This section, soletrar means to spell. Remember that? So let's see if it goes. Soletrar. Ok. Here, clique aqui para iniciar a reprodução automática do áudio. So, click here to begin the automatic reproduction of the audio clip. So, all those cards that you created, they are turned into audio, so you can listen to the pronunciation. And in this section, you listen to it. Let me see if I can share computer sound.
Eu vou querer outro.
Eu vou querer outro. And then you correta.
Eu
Next.
quero viajar.
And then you keep doing it. Now you are going to practice with the audio clip to see if you understand and write. So you see that this goes in a step by step. First, you practice to see if you just remember what they mean. Then you practice writing. Then you practice listening and writing. Linda, the cards, I will send you the link with all these cards. So this is shareable. I can share this, and I will share this on our Facebook group, this link, and also on the Telegram. Okay, so you will have these cards, and then you can use them to study. All right. And when you click on the link, Linda, I think they will ask you to create an account. I don't know how it works if you don't have Quizlet, but it's very simple, and it's free. I don't pay for it. Oh, great. You just done it. So yeah, I will share the link with you all from these cards so you can practice all this lesson later. And also you can create more cards, okay? And here you have avaliar. Avaliar is to test yourself. So you're going to test your knowledge of all this that you have studied. And when you master this, then you keep creating every day. It's good to create every day new cards of new language that you learned. And also you see that my cards, they are not only words. It's not like ontem, casa, fui. No, because it's more interesting if you have full sentences, if you know how to apply the words in context. It can aggregate. Yes, Linda, you can set up a class. Yes. And then if I want to add more cards to these ones, I can add more cards, I can add as many cards as I want to. Awesome. So Thomas is saying that there is this app for phone, for mobile as well. I haven't used the Quizlet app on phones, but I guessed there might be one, and there is. So you can also use it on your phone if it's easier for you, and you can do it anywhere. So that's good as well. And here you can create more cards. These are all the cards that I have created. And if you click on the sentence,
Eu fiz a tarefa de casa essa manhã.
you can listen to it. Also, you can listen in English.
I did the homework this morning.
I think this is awesome. When I was learning English, this didn't exist. That's very sad, but I'm glad that this exists now because it helps me with my Chinese and my French. And I think it's very useful for all learners. And also, this is not the only option. This is not the only option. Some students prefer to use Anki. I don't know if you've heard of Anki. Let me write it here. And I've never used Anki, but I've seen some students using, and I've seen good things and I've seen bad things. Yes, some students can't work Anki on the MacBook, but it's also another tool that you can use to train. And remember that this is training exercise, you know, and by doing this, you are producing the language. Yuri, how am I producing the language if I'm just repeating? For example, you learned the conjugation of the verb beber in the past, to drink. Bebi, bebi. You are not going to create a card just with the word bebi. You are going to produce a language in the sense that you are going to create a sentence with that verb. So you come up with eu bebi água, eu bebi água. And then you create the language. And then that language that you created, you keep mastering, you keep studying. And then when you acquire, when you know that you learned it, you create new sentences, new phrases from that word. And then you keep creating branches to your learning, you know, and you don't stick to the same thing over and over again. You just create branches. And this is what I tell my students to do. And this is what makes them get out of that infinite learning loop, because they start using the same thing to create extra branches. And from here, another branch here, and then they start spreading their language into different directions, you know, and this is what it does. I see. Linda, I don't know if in the Excel you can use audio and all these things.
Yeah, it was just really weird. I've tried several times to make Anki work on the Mac desktop, and the best I can do is download Excel files.
Yeah, and I don't think that's that
It's
good.
very useful.
Yes. So
if anybody figures it out, please share.
Has anyone ever used Anki before? Here? Barbara?
The people I know that use it on their phone and say it works great as a phone flashcard.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe on the phone is better. Yeah, I've never used it. But Quizlet, I have been using, and I totally recommend. That's why I recommend my students to use, because you can also have the audio clip and you can repeat and you can do the extra exercises like writing and listening and writing, the spelling bit that they call it. And I think it's very useful. And that leads you to training and producing new language. Because remember, I've been telling you this from the very first day. My goal is for you to produce new language. You know, communication comes when you produce the language. If you only listen, if you only read, if you're in a conversation, if you only listen, you're not in a conversation, because you're not talking, you're not producing, you're not interacting with the person apart from receiving the language. So that's why I want my students to focus on communication and, most importantly, on producing the language. Okay? So is there anything that you would like to add, any questions that you would like to ask? I will share. Okay, Barbara, just a minute. I will share this presentation with all the verbs with you. And also I will share the link with the cards. All right, Linda, and then you all can study and try, if it's new for you, see how it works and do the exercises and see the conjugation of the verbs and listen to the audio clips. And also the recording of this lesson is going to be on our Telegram group. Okay, Barbara. Your mic.
No.
Okay, now it's good.
Yeah, so can you put an image instead of the English sentence, or, you know?
Yes, in Quizlet. Yes. Yes. Just a second. Oh, I can't do it now because I would have to create new cards, but I can, but I can record a video doing this later, and then I can send you guys on how to do it.
Yeah. From you choose from Google Images or what? Yeah.
Well, yes, you can you can upload from your phone, or you can choose from the internet.
Yeah, okay. And have you ever used mind map for language learning?
I haven't. I haven't used mind map. Have you?
No.
No. Yeah, I haven't used mind map, but I've seen other fellow teachers using, you know, and also students using, and it's very effective. And if you think that it works for you, then it's a good thing to learning, you know. I haven't used.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any other question?
Yep, I have a question.
Yes.
Couldn't understand the difference between pozo and pozo. For me, it's exactly the same. I didn't.
Yes, it's pronunciation. The differences in pronunciation. So first of all, repeat after me, Paola. O.
Oh.
Yes, O. So it's open sound. O.
Oh.
Yes, and the other one is a closed sound. O.
Oh.
Yes, so it's passo and poço.
Pozo, pozo. Oh my
yes,
God.
yes, you made the difference very clear. Like passo and poço. O, pa, po.
Oh yeah, I see.
You see?
Yeah, I see.
Awesome. Yeah. And in this word, the difference is this, like in pronunciation, the spelling is also different, but the difference in pronunciation is this, posso and poço. Okay. Anjali, it's not in Portuguese. Actually, the app is in your native language, you know, but you create the cards yourself. So you create one side in English and the other side in Portuguese, you know, or you write it yourself. You create the cards, or you can write one side in Hindi and the other side in Portuguese. Okay. So you can write anything actually. Yes, Linda, I don't use the paid plan of Quizlet. You know, I only use the free thing.
Yeah,
And
I had the
don't...
same thing as Angeli. I couldn't see how to find the free one, and it was in teeny tiny itsy bitsy type, like 9-point type, and all the other plans are in 16 and 18-point type because I thought the same thing. So maybe it's just they're really small, Angeli.
Yeah, yeah. And to make it easier to distinguish open O and closed O for some of you, closed O has a slight U. Oh, actually. What do you mean by this?
It's like a glide, like O.
Oh.
So phonetically, it's actually like two vowels together, so it's shown as a glide.
Yeah. O. You can say O.
It's not like a clean O sound.
Yes, it's just
I know Spanish speakers have difficulty with that because Spanish only has an O.
Yes, true. Yes. So it's similar to O, but when it comes to pronunciation, if you say poço, that doesn't exist and it may not be understood. Poço, you know. So try to say po, but cut the u at the end. Po, just cut in between. Yes. Okay. Awesome. And any other question?
So last thing on that,
yeah, neither. Go on.
El pozo nadar, is that what we're saying?
Yes, correct.
And then if I said el pozo is a well.
Poço. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. O.
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 Yes, yes. So, po.
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 Yes. So now you say posso.
Posso.
Poço.
Poço.
Awesome.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
So the verb, eu posso nadar. Okay. And the noun, well, poço. Okay. Barbara, you want to say something?
Can you check my pronunciation of grandmother and grandfather?
Definitely. Go on. Yes.
So, I don't know. Grandmother, probably it's not correct. Avô and grandfather, avô.
No.
Avô.
So the grandmother is o. Avó.
Avó.
Yes,
Avó.
grandmother. Avó, correct. Grandfather is the O sound. Avô. O.
Avô.
Yes.
Avô.
Yes. So
Avó.
avô.
Avó. A
O.
grandmother is avó.
Yes.
Avó.
Yes.
And grandfather is avó.
Avô.
Avô.
Yes.
Avô.
Yes. 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 So practice. This is practicing. Yeah. Okay. Got into the free, but how to get the cards? Yeah, Anjali, that's right. Yeah. You have to create your own cards. You know, the cards that I have shown you, I will still share with you. So you will click on the link and then you will have access to the cards that I have created. When you get into the Quizlet, you have to create your own cards. The cards won't be there waiting for you. Okay?
So we would have to recreate the cards that you sent individually for those to be part of, quote, our account, or we would just have to use the link you send every time we want to see those. I don't quite understand how you consume them. Maybe
I think, Linda, when I give you the link, it will be automatically added to your account. You know, you will have different card sections, let's say, you know. I think that's how it works. We will check that.
We'll see.
And yeah, we'll see. And also you can create different sections, you know, like you create a card section on nature, and then you have vocabulary of nature. And then you create another card section on illnesses and how to ask for, okay. Yeah, go on. And so this is how it works. Okay, you create your own cards and you practice.
Can you just demonstrate, because where does the card thing comes? What is the drop down? Where do you get into the blank card where you write?
So just a second.
I'm not able to get the menu.
Let me share. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So criar. So mine is in Portuguese, okay? So criar. Let this go.
Okay.
So create a new list of studies that it said. Okay, let's take this add out of the way. And then you create the name of it. Let's say animais. You add a description if you want to. I'm not going to add in description. And here you start creating your cards. So for example, I like to create because I'm learning Portuguese, in your case, you're learning Portuguese, it's always good to have first your native language and on the back of the card, your Portuguese. Because you want to remember Portuguese, you don't want to remember your native language. So let's suppose that here cat, and here we've got gato.
Gato.
And then here we've got dog, and then here we've got cachorro. Okay, and then you create card number 3, number 4, number 5, and you can add more cards here and add more cards. And then right here, you click criar, and then it saves.
Oh.
And then this is your card, your animal section, animais, and then it's creating. Here we've got the cards, and here they are. How do you say cat in Portuguese? Gato. And then you click on the card. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
And then you can learn, you can write, you can spell, and then you do it like that.
Okay?
Okay?
Great. Yeah.
How do you add the audio?
Thank you. Thank you.
So the audio is not added, it's already there. So you just click here.
Cat.
Or
Gato.
you see? Did you hear?
Yep.
Yeah. So the audio is not added. It's just there. It's automatically done. Okay.
Does it prompt you when you have duplicate entries? So
Does
if,
it?
Like if you've added the same words several times?
I don't understand the question actually. Repeat.
Like if you did cat today and then 2 weeks from now you added cat again. Like if you already have a list of hundreds, thousands of words, you might not remember what you've already added.
Yeah, it has never happened to me, so I don't know how to answer that. You know, because I don't work with single words. I only work with sentences, and the sentences are never the same. You know, so yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, because it's always good, Tomás, to work with sentences, you know, to apply them into a context and not just single words like the example I gave. I just wrote like word cat and dog just to show you how to create the card. Okay, Bárbara.
So Quizlet doesn't use spaced repetition system like Anki SRS. When you don't know the word, maybe you click on fail or hard, and then you will see that word much more often than the ones that you know the answer of, that you find easy.
Oh, okay.
Anki,
So that's good. Yeah. Anki is also a good tool. So actually you can try both, you know, you can try using both and you see what works best for you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other question or comment? No? So thank you very, very much for joining me today. Tomorrow we have our masterclass, right? As usual. A1, A2, B1. Also today, for those who have filled out the pre-registration form, I have already contacted everybody, and we've got 3 more spots available on the Master Club, right? And also remember that you have the 20% discount, so use it. And if you want to join the Master Club, still today, send me an email or fill out the form so you can do it today before the spots are gone. Or if you want to wait until tomorrow, that's when I open for everybody. Let's see if there is space left. I don't think there will be, but let's see. So if you have questions, email me, send me messages on Instagram or whatever it's easier for you. All right? Thank you very, very much. And I'll see you tomorrow on the masterclass.
Tchau,
Thank
tchau.
you.
Tchau, tchau. Obrigado, gente. Tchau, tchau.
Tchau, tchau, obrigada.
Yuri, for the masterclass tomorrow, what is the theme? Because I've missed the previous couple?
Tomorrow we are going to answer questions on the questions that people have asked on the Facebook group. So I will be just answering questions.
Okay.
It will be like a Q&A.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's at the
So,
regular Saturday time?
Yes. Yes, Thomas.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So good.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Thank you, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.